All right. Welcome back to the Boys of 161st Street, episode 140. I don't know what the fuck just happened yesterday. We just melted down on the Angels. I took a little bit of a nap, and then the game just was still going on, and I was like, I don't know how this is happening. Thought it was in the bag. Wasn't in the bag. We're going to get into it a lot. We got a loaded episode for you today. Today, we actually are going to talk a lot about all the stuff that happened in Yankee land, Hal addressing the media, Boone's comments, K's comments, Chapman being broken. We got voicemails at the end. I'm going to hit one in the beginning. We just got a fucking new signing. Chandler, do you want to enlighten the people on what happened there? Also, at the back end of this episode, before we get into that, Chandler, we do have a Mets preview podcast that we recorded earlier this morning with Giraffe Nick Mark from YouTube. Big YouTuber, Mets fan, previewing the Mets series. Hopefully the Yankees can turn it around by then, but both teams are kind of limping into this series. They lost 20-2 yesterday. We had the worst loss probably in the last 4 years historically. So it might be a good time for both of us to meet. I don't know. We'll see. One team's got to lose. One team's got to win. Maybe this will be the first tie of a series we've ever seen. Every single game. No runs being scored. But who did the Yankees just sign, Chandler?
I mean, I don't want to downplay it. I'm just going to come out and say it. This is a very big day in Yankee land. We don't have to worry about that pesky Aaron Judge guy playing center field anymore. We went out and we got our guy. Right-handed hitter, 6'1", speedy guy, supposedly. I've never seen him play. And that's a fault of my own, not him. Tim LeCastro, your newest MVP. He's coming in hot with a 178 batting average, 1 home run this year. So he's got a little pop from the right side, just like a Judge or Stanton. A 38 OPS plus. He's got a negative WAR this year. And if that wasn't good enough for you, he's a bit of a defensive wizard too. If he takes over center field, you're looking at a -1 in DRS, defensive runs saved. And spread out across all the outfield because, he can play a little bit of everything. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's got 0. So he's, right at league average, a little bit below. And that's our guy. We're going to we've been complaining. House hurt us, bitching.
We got him.
Thank fucking God, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if you mentioned it too, but he's a righty also, which helps because we don't have enough of those.
No, that's what I'm saying, dude. Hal heard us bitching, and he got what the fans wanted. We wanted a new center fielder. He said, I could get Cattell or Starling Marte, but let me do you one better. I'm getting you Tim LeCastro. Welcome in. We're going to the World Series. There's your new leadoff hitter.
He's a 491 OPS as well.
Yeah, that's really good.
If all that wasn't enough.
But he does have 5 RBIs.
That's fantastic. I'm very happy for him for that. I don't see this guy. I hope this isn't it. Obviously, it shouldn't be it. We're gonna get into Hal's comments in a second, but before we got anywhere past this Tim LeCastro business, before we moved on, we did have a voicemail from one of our callers from Rathway, New Jersey. Didn't say his name, I don't think, but it's about this Tim LeCastro business. We're gonna get to the rest of the voicemails at the back end of this show. But I just wanted to do this one at the beginning because it's obviously on the breaking news note. So here we go.
This is Steven from New Jersey. First time, long time. I want to talk about Chapman and Tim LeCastro, however the hell you pronounce his name. But going out and getting another right-handed hitter
our guy
who is not hitting his fucking body weight is absolutely absurd. I think this is a move just to shut the fans up, and honestly I think it does more harm than good. This guy, he's pretty much a right-handed Tyler Wade. He's got speed and defense. That's exactly what he is, a right-handed Tyler Wade. Moving on to Chapman, just a question. I don't know if you guys can find this out, but has his struggles coincided with the substance ban? I know he's been shaky in the past, but this is a little bit different, I think. But I don't know. He seems to be struggling a lot more than usual. That's it. Go Yanks.
these calls, and appreciate the call, by the way. If you want to send a voicemail in, thank you, Steven. 914-469-2168 is the number to call. These calls have been sounding sadder and sadder and angrier and angrier. And honestly, no, it's past the point of being angry. Some are angry, but most of them are just sad, and I feel that completely. We didn't get a call from Stephen G this episode, but they will be joining us to do a new segment that we actually are going to implement after. I think we're going to do it for Friday's episode next week. So next week, we're going to do what we call Beat the Boys, which is basically trivia / Jeopardy, where we want you guys to be involved and play against us and see if you can beat us in trivia. I'm not the best at trivia. I know a lot about, some stuff, but I'm pretty dumb. Murph is a big historian, so you're going to have kind of a tough time beating him. I'm going to be the host, RIP Alex Trebek. I'm going to be that for this episode. I think it's going to be Chandler and Murph versus our boy Steve and G. If you do want to want to get involved and play against us in this, which is going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to put it on the back end of the Friday episode, just in addition to whatever Yankees nonsense we talk about then, probably recapping the Mets series. But if you do want to be a part of that and have a chance to play against us, there is going to be a Google form in our Instagram highlight, little circles on our profile. And basically just fill it out either alone or with a friend. And if you're alone, we can just pair you with another person to play against us. And basically all you have to do is subscribe to the Bronx Pinstripes YouTube, where we go live on, or leave us a review on iTunes. And if you do both, you get a double entry, and you might just get a chance to get on. And in terms of the questions, we will always put out a swipe up to ask for questions on the Thursday leading up to the actual show. And you can email us at the161podcast@gmail.com or slide in our DMs and send us a question. Or we can just think about it ourselves. But these are going to be a lot of fun. And one more thing before we get going on the rest of the show is we just wanted to make sure you guys were aware that the show is presented by Action Network, and we wanted you to download the Action app. The Greasy Parlay, Chandler's Greasy Parlay, hit yesterday for the first time in a while, which is great. And if you wanted to follow us on the Action app, I am 161 Luke, that is 161 Bing. The rest of the guys are 161 Chandler, 161 Murph, and 161 Damon. Excuse me, Chandler. So the Greasy Parlay hit.
I mean, it was electric. It's been a while. Hit a bit of a cold streak, as you like to point out to me every single day. Mm-hmm. But that's okay. We're back now, and I don't really foresee the Greasy Parlay losing again this year. So get it while it's hot.
Get it while it's hot is right. So let's get into the Yankee news. And by the way, all of that stuff, Apple Music, YouTube, Action Network, all going to be in the description below in the YouTube or on the Apple Podcast, wherever you're listening to it. So while we were recording the Mets preview podcast, which, like I said, is going to be at the back end of this episode, Hal Steinbrenner addressed the media. And what did he say to the media, Chandler? Because there were a lot of comments from, first of all, before we get into that, there have been so many media addresses, however you want to say that, this year. I think whoever is keeping score at home, this has to be the most addresses of the media at this point in a single season, which is not a good sign. You never really address the media when you're doing well. You always address the media when you're doing pretty fucking shit. And it's not even just like big addresses like this Hal one, or at least it was anticipated to be big. Like you got Cashman before the game yesterday saying, "Hey, flat out, we suck," and then it's just bad. So what did Hal say to the media?
Got a lot of good things here. You're not going to guess any of them, really. So we have the first one. Aaron Boone and the coaches are absolutely the right people to lead this team. Spot on. Totally agreed there. We're not going to get down. We've had tough losses before. We're going to do everything we can to win. Awesome. Very good. Thank you. Because I don't think they're doing that right now. So you sure as shit don't need to change anything. And then this one of my there's two more good ones I really like here. This one's one of my favorite. And I've never heard it before, so I'm definitely feeling positive that he'll absolutely consider exceeding the luxury tax if the players' operations come with the right person. Never heard that before. I know he's going to do it this time. And then firing personnel in season. My dad did that a lot. And what people forget is that it didn't work. Which he's dead right, because they never George Steinbrenner, they never won a World Series. So, spot on all the way around, and you just can't be upset at something like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Fucking
So
clown.
if you can't read a room and you're listening to this, that was pretty clear sarcasm. Hal Steinbrenner, we started a GoFundMe for him to sell the fucking team. He didn't sell the team. I was hoping he was announcing that he would sell the team in that moment right there. But yeah, just absolutely tone deaf address.
He just
the Gettysburg Address.
There's no way he's ever watched a game. He said something today. It just sounds to me like he doesn't even know the record. He just thinks it's like typical Yankees fans complaining. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's fine. We've lost a game before. We're just going to come out and win it. Like it'll turn around. Like, no, it fucking won't. Even your GM that for some reason you're so fucking loyal to has said it. This team fucking sucks. And Stanton talked about it yesterday. He's the only person who's given us a real answer. He was like, yeah, I mean, we're playing like shit. We need to pick it up. And they're like, whoa. Somebody gave us an honest answer that isn't. We're just right around the corner.
Page.
Talk is cheap. We just got to start performing a little better. No, you need to do a total 180. This team fucking blows.
And then
that game last night was disgusting.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that game yet. We'll get into that. But like on top of that, so leading up to this game, for those who need a little bit of a recap, who didn't watch the games, and I don't blame you. And I appreciate if you are one of those people who aren't watching the games, but you're listening to this podcast. I mean, you're one of the real ones, because that's fucking awesome. We appreciate you there. So for those people, I'll give you a little bit of a recap, because I love you guys. Boone, leading up to the series, says that the season's on the line. And what does he do? You know, when the season's on the line, you tend to want to, play maybe your only good player who's been on a potential MVP run, and, also playing a lot of games, and to which there was obvious potential for the game following to get rained out, which, oh, by the way, it did. It did get rained out. And, yeah, he benches Judge, and we have...
Gio.
Well, and Gio, two of the best hitters this season, and in a game no less against Shohei Ohtani, which you need to win. And yes, they did knock him around in the first inning. In 2/3 of an inning, he gives up 7 runs. But I will add one quick little caveat. That wasn't necessarily due to the Yankees smacking him around. If you think they smacked him around, he gifted us 4 walks. I think it was 4 or 3. I think it was 4. He gifted us 4 walks in 2 outs that he got. We got 2 hits. So, and I mean, I was tweeting it all the time too. Like, now would be a pretty damn good time to pinch hit Judge. I know it's the first inning, but he shouldn't have been out to begin with. So maybe this would be a good opportunity to pinch hit Judge, because I just want him back in the fucking lineup. Gio or Urshela too. They can both walk up to the plate together, and they can do rock paper scissors to decide who's getting the at bat. But either one of them, I wanted to be in that spot, especially with bases loaded. And even I said it while Glaber was up, because Glaber's struggling. That's not going to work out because you can't do whatever double switch or however you're going to figure it out. But when Brett fucking Gardner got up there, I think there was 1 out. I mean, come on. I don't think he did anything bad. I think he did.
No, he walked.
He walked. But instead of a walk, maybe you have Aaron Judge, your best player, hits a fucking grand slam. Maybe that happens. Or I think there was 2 on. Whatever the fuck it may be. We ended up scoring runs there. Thank God. I think if we didn't, I would have been coming for heads like, okay, that's the last straw. Fire him now. Fire them all now. Clean house right now, because this is a game where you guys need to start your guys. If it's the season's on the line, that makes no fucking sense to me. It makes no sense to me. But one thing I did want to get into before we address that, it's on the same note, so we might as well just give Michael K's little 2 cents, because he was going off on the Michael K show, and I agree with every word he said, so let's hear what he had to say.
Maybe.
Absolutely inexcusable by the organization and by Boone and by Judge not to go into that office and demand to be in the lineup. Because Aaron Judge has a lot of sway in this organization. If he pounded on the door and said, I want to be in the lineup, he would be in the lineup. This is on him, unless he's hurt. And then if he's hurt, he should allow Boone to say he's hurt.
I mean, I completely agree with that. It is on Judge too, and maybe he did say something, and I know, but I don't think he did say something, and I'm tired of just like allowing Judge to just be like, oh, it's not his fault. He was told not to be in the lineup. He said, even just like Michael K said, he does have sway in this organization. Same goes with Stanton too on these off days, or with him playing the outfield. He absolutely can say something like, hey, I'm taking reps in the outfield. I want to play out there to get my team back on track, so I don't have to just keep addressing the media and saying, yeah, this sucks, we're shit. Maybe we can all get together and play when the season's on the line. Like this, it just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. And
well, so Judge is, the Judge thing is such a catastrophe that he wasn't in the lineup and just so fucking baffling that it's taken away from the fact that Boone came out and said we wanted to get Odor's bat in the lineup and took Gio out. Part of Hal's thing today, he was bitching about the players. He was like, yeah, we fully believe in our thing. And he pinned 100% of the blame on the players. Nothing on the manager, on the general manager, anything like that. You know what is the manager's decision? Putting in fucking Rougned Odor over Gio Urshela because you wanted to get him at bats. Rougned Odor comes in, he's batting in the 5-hole or 6-hole. He comes in with the bases loaded, no outs, and fucking strikes out on 3 straight pitches that bounce in the grass. Like, I'm sorry. That is a manager mistake. That comes from Boone. That does not come from the players. Yeah, the players have plenty of blame. Everybody has blame. This team, it's flawed from the bottom to the top. But that comes from the manager. If Rougned Odor is coming in there with the bases loaded and your season's on the line, then something's really fucking wrong.
Also, one thing you did say that I want to bring up too, in his comments, Hal's comments, he was saying it's like 100% on the players and all that stuff, not on management. We're still behind the management, we're still behind the team. What kind of message does that send to the players or to the potential new players that we may be trading for or sign in years to come, that upper management, the GM and the manager can do no wrong, and the owner of the team is saying that a historically disappointing season where there are clear managerial decisions that are going wrong and clear and obvious moves that were made on the GM side that have been historically bad, being the Stanton trade and other trades like that. And it's just like all the trades that don't work out, all the pitching trades, the Paxton, the Tyone that isn't working out now, all of these deals that he's making are looking pretty ugly. And you look at the one Voit trade and the one Gio trade and you're like, oh, he's great. He's not. And when you see all those moves and then you see Hal say that the players are the ones at fault, what kind of message does that send to the people that want to play for the Yankees? They're just not going to like playing for the Yankees. And that's like a slap in the face. If I'm a player, at least I know it is on the players a lot. The players are definitely underperforming, but at some point you guys have to share the blame and not just point fingers. That's, to me, that press conference was a lot of pointing fingers at people that didn't solely deserve blame. And I think that's a big slap in the face at all of the players in the organization. And I don't like the way this team is going to be going, just the way the relationship with players going forward because of that. We've talked a lot about the way, just the environment of being in the Yankees is already a stringent, strict, you gotta fucking shave your beard, you gotta be the Yankee way, you play for the number on the back, not the name, and all that bullshit. And I guess you just deal with it because the Yankees are a historic franchise. But when you don't have your players' backs and you point fingers at them and all that shit, it's just like having a bad boss. It is literally a bad boss. And it's just like, you don't want to play for that guy. And these guys are making so much money and they can make money elsewhere and request trades and do all these things, which I don't know if they can do right now because they are underperforming. But all of these things just makes for a big fucking clusterfuck of just toxicity within this organization. And it's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me that nobody, we've been saying it for every episode. I don't know how nobody's fired yet. Or
it shows me
I don't know
that
how somebody else hasn't been brought onto the team yet because it's just ridiculous.
Well, it shows me that he cares about his loyalty to Brian Cashman and he cares about his pocket. Because if you don't care, like, his loyalty to Brian Cashman makes no fucking sense to me. That's what this all is. Hey, yeah, it's the players' fault. Okay, blame it on them. Who brought the players in? Who constructed this roster from top to bottom? It's Brian Cashman. So yeah, if the players are underperforming, it's on them for sucking, but it's also on the guy who put the fucking team out there. Like, I'm sorry, but you can blame them all you want, and I know they're underperforming, but you constructed a lineup of 9 identical players. Look in the mirror.
And one more thing I want to talk about while we are on the topic before we get into actual like performances and stuff, because just seems like I don't know. I don't even know how to describe this, but Boone's comments about Shohei Ohtani coming up, like, I get it. Shohei Ohtani's great, and I'll give him all the credit in the world. Maybe not. Maybe he sucks because we knocked him around. Not really. He just fucking gave us. He had a bad outing. I'm not gonna write off his MVP year or anything like that. He's definitely fucking good at baseball. And everybody has bad outings. That being said, same goes for Cole, who's been not playing so well right now. I know we'll get to that a little bit later in the rounding third section. But the comment Boone made, there's a little bit of fear when he walks up there. Like, that is just that's just a pussy comment. Like, don't say that. Say that, like, just say, I agree. Like, you say he's a damn good player, but, like, you say that and you leave it there. You don't say there's a little bit of fear when he comes up. Like, you're competing against this guy. You don't want to give him any extra confidence. I don't know if he can see that or whatever the fuck's going on with that, or needs a translator to see it, or whatever it may be, but he's going to see that, and he's going to feel that, and you're going to fuel him. Like, that type of thing, you don't want to show any fear with anybody in the world, let alone somebody you're directly competing against. And it's just like, yeah, he's a good player, but maybe you don't say that, and maybe you just make a good managerial decision and maybe like intentionally walk him. Maybe that would be a good way of saying that without saying it, and also benefiting the team. Because then you pitch right at him and he hits fucking 3 home runs because Jameson Tyon's on the bump, and he can't fucking get anybody out, let alone the reincarnation of Babe Ruth. So I don't know.
It's Little League 101. Like, when you're going up, and if you're not the best player in the league and you're facing that one kid who throws like 70 at 10 years old, and everybody's just like scared as shit, but you don't say that. That's the first thing your coach tells you. Like, yeah, don't let him know you're scared of him, or you've already lost the battle. When your fucking manager is saying that, that's an issue. Grow some fucking balls, man. You're in the major leagues. Holy hell.
Yeah, so off that topic, I'm getting a little too fucking angry, so I think we need to just dial it back. I don't foresee me getting any less angry, but I get particularly angry when we talk about Boone and Cashman and all those people, because it's something that we can't even control, and I don't apparently Hal backs them, so they're not changing anytime soon. So the players on the field that are also underperforming and I'm upset with. So Aroldis Chapman had a 0 ERA through 18 outings back on May 21st. 13 appearances later, Chapman now has a 3.77 ERA on the season. Now, 0 ERA, no matter how many outings you're going to get, is going to inflate, and reliever ERA is not that big a deal, but he absolutely has fallen off a bit. He's lost it, and, you know, we got the first caller. I think it was Steven, I think.
Yeah, it was Steven.
He mentioned that too, and he was questioning the sticky stuff with Chapman, and that's not even something that I even thought about, because, you know, everybody's talking about Garrett Cole being the one because he was the best pitcher in the league, but so was Chapman. Chapman was the best at his individual job at the time. So, you know, when you look at that and you look at the timing of things, maybe. I mean, it's not a shock if that is the case, because everybody does it, like we said, but, you know, I think for a guy like Chapman, who we know to get wild from time to time, I think he is probably the exact person who would benefit from spider attack or anything like that, because he can control things. And then the one thing that he lost that he did have, that we mentioned that this year, like, this is the best version of Chapman that we've ever seen. He's got all the off speed. He's doing all this stuff. There's a new sinker, and then it's the sinker. The split finger. The new split finger comes in. He can control everything. He's not walking as many people. Now, what happens yesterday? He fucking walks the bases loaded and gives up a grand slam. Now, I'm not saying Chapman's completely lost it or he's fucking bad. People are saying in our DMs, like, trade Chapman. Now, I don't think that's the case. Now, I think if we were going to sell, maybe he would be one that you sell, but I don't want to sell. And Hal even said he's not even thinking about it. And I'm glad that was the one thing that I guess was good. But at the same time, we've had this whole conversation of buying and selling. Where this team isn't a piece or two away from a World Series. Maybe if everybody on the team comes around, we are. But that's neither here nor there. But I do think Chapman absolutely used pine tar or spider tack because everybody did. And I think we are seeing a little bit of the ripple effects of that. Now, I would like to see a bigger sample size than to write him off as being the pitcher that he is. I mean, I just
seems like he always hits a patch like this, though, in the middle of the year. Maybe not to this extent, but every summer he has, even in 2019, I think it was, he had that, he was an all-star, and then he kind of collapsed. I use that term, loosely, but he kind of collapsed and everybody was ready to kick him to the curb, whatever. And then he came back and was dominant at the end of the year. It's a yearly thing with him. I just think the way he throws and as hard as he throws his stuff, everything like that, there's bound to be one little mechanical issue that throws you off for a month or two. I still think he's an elite closer. And I kind of said something about this earlier. I don't know why, like in times like right now, when you have a guy like Jonathan Loaizaga, who's been absolutely disgusting, why don't you work him in a few days a week? Give Chapman a little extra rest, a little extra bullpen time to work things out. He didn't lose his job. I'm just saying, work in another guy right now in a 4-run game. You know, if you still need your guy in a high leverage situation, no, he didn't lose that job. But in a 4-run game or a 3-run game, let a guy like Jonathan Loaizaga, who's been probably our best bullpen arm this year, let him go out there and close a game. And then let Chapman work on his shit and come back out there and be obviously not the guy he was earlier because his 0 ERA is impossible, but be the elite closer that we know he is. But they won't. They just have too much pride to go and do anything logical that'll hurt somebody's feelings. There's a happy balance between being an asshole coach and just coddling every single thing. Boone is so afraid to make somebody on this team sad and hurt their feelings that he won't make a logical decision. To me, that seems like a no-brainer. Like, why press your guy that can't fucking throw strikes and is clearly off in some way, shape, or form? It just makes no sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not worried about Chapman. I think he'll figure it out. I do think he's lacking control because of the lack of spider tag, but I don't think necessarily that's the end of Chapman. I think he'll figure it out like everybody else will without it, or they'll allow a substance for them to use, and they'll figure it out, hopefully. But I don't know. In terms of the next topic we have, what?
Breaking news.
What's that?
The Yankees have acquired another outfielder.
Aldinus Sanchez. Wow.
As the player to be named later in the Mike Ford deal. So it looks like LaCastro's got some competition.
Yeah. There's going to be a position battle.
God.
You think when we do roll calls at the beginning of next year that Aldinus Sanchez is going to be one of the ones that we talk about? I think he might be the best one that we talk about.
He'll probably get his own episode if he can beat out LaCastro. That's the thing, though. Yeah. You got to keep that in mind because LaCastro's coming in piping hot right now. So
yeah, there's nobody hotter than LaCastro. So speaking of people that are getting an opportunity, Jason Dominguez. This is actually probably the only happy thing that we're going to talk about this entire episode, I think.
Is it happy, though?
No, I think it's just exciting. I mean, he's playing in the Future Stars game, the All-Star game, and, nobody usually watches the All-Star game, so, nobody gives a fuck about it ever since it's no longer, the winning team gets the home field advantage, right? They threw that away?
Yeah.
Which makes no sense because that was actually fun, and then it mattered a little bit, at least, but, Jason Dominguez gets this is the first action we're going to see out of him, and in terms of watching, I'm more excited for that Future Stars game than I am for the actual All-Star game. And there's a pretty good list of people that are on this list, like Jared Kelenic, Medina. There's a bunch of good names that actually make this pretty exciting to watch, and I'm excited to get a look at him. He got his pro debut a couple days ago, and
he's 0 for 6 with a couple Ks and a couple walks.
Yeah, whatever. But we're starting to get looks at Jason Dominguez, so I'm very excited about that.
I'm excited that we're getting looks. I don't think putting him in the Futures game is a good call. That's just they're building this guy up. They're literally building him up for failure. Like anything short of Mike Trout at this point, he's going to be deemed a bust. Like he's 18 years old. You're fucking with this kid's future. You're putting him in the Futures game when he just got his first major league, or not major league, but you know what I mean, his first professional at bats a week ago. And the Futures game is a week from now or a week and a half from now, whatever. Like you're setting him up for failure with this, which I think it's exciting. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be a total Debbie Downer. It's awesome that we have this guy in our system. He's got everything you need to be a superstar, but it's kind of the same thing with Byron Buxton. People hyped him up to be the next Ruth / Willie Mays / whatever combined rolled into one. And it's Vlad Jr., and you come out here and you struggle for a year or two, and then everybody just shits on you and writes you off after a year. It's just he's going to have the highest expectations of anybody in recent memory because of shit like this, and I hope he can live up to them, which I know he can't because they're unrealistic at this point. But
yeah. So do you want to get into the rounding thirds? Because we've toyed with the rounding thirds before, and I think we finally figured out the segment because rounding thirds are they're a little infrequent for us, and we had to think about hot takes and stuff. So I think this is a better way to do it going forward. And I think going forward, we'll just do the rounding thirds on the Friday episode. We'll do hot or not on the Monday episodes, along with voicemails. We're going to do voicemails today, but going forward, the voicemails will be on Monday's episode. And yeah, I think we'll do that. So rounding third today, it's basically just going to be buy or sell. We're going to call you safer out. It's our version of buy or sell. And if you guys want to get involved in this, we posted it the day before, so we'll post it on Thursdays to get entries for the rounding thirds. And we basically just ask for your hot takes, and me and Chandler are going to buy or sell these hot takes. So for this episode, I'll ask Chandler and he'll answer. Rapid fire, we'll get into the conversation about each one. So like I said, you guys sent in your hot takes, and we're going to buy or sell them. Let's do it. So the first one comes from Cesar Suarez Para from Instagram. He said, Cole isn't a top 3 pitcher. Are you buying or selling that?
Sell.
Yeah, I think there's not enough.
I think that's a bit of an overreaction.
That's a total overreaction. And
I get the frustration, but no.
He's still a top 3 pitcher, and I think maybe that might be a little bit of just like that's what you saw recently. Like you're noticing that since he's not using spider attack and all that stuff, he's not playing that well right now. But like so is the rest of the league. You look at Lucas Giolito with that situation with Josh Donaldson, and he gets knocked around one time for the homer, and just a bunch of different things. It's not just Cole that's dealing with this stuff. And we just said, we saw it with Chapman. Cole is definitely a top 3 pitcher. I think he's the second best pitcher in the league, and I think he's still going to win the Cy Young. So I'm going to sell that as well. So moving on to the next one. I think the name is Sturk98 from Instagram also. Brian Cashman sells the farm for a top flight arm and 3 bats. Are you buying or selling that?
I don't think he will, but I would love it if he did.
So you're selling that, but you if you were him, you'd be buying it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess if you're doing the safer out, I'm saying he's safe, that I like the idea. Out, that I don't think it's going to happen, because I think the front office is way too big of just pussies to do it. So,
yeah, he said specifically sell the farm. So that means everybody. That means Jason Dominguez as well. That means probably Luis Gil, Luis Medina. That means Devi Garcia, Clark Schmidt. Like, sell the farm and go out and do it. I don't think that's worth it because, like I said, we're going to need to get a lot in return to even be a potential World Series team this year. So I don't even think it's borderline worth it to do that. I want to see it. Again, it's not in my pockets, but I feel like selling it's different from signing a free agent. Signing a free agent, I don't give a fuck, that's not in my pockets type thing. You can go over the luxury tax for all I fucking care. But in terms of prospects, that sets you back if you miss on that. And here's the thing with that, I don't trust this GM to make a move that works while also getting rid of the entire farm. So it's like, it almost would
trade Dominguez for like Kyle Gibson or something.
Yeah. So I do not trust the man Brian Cashman based on his prior track record to make a move that is worthy of selling off the farm. And I mean, in terms of top flight arm, I would like to get Max Scherzer and 3 bats. I would like to get Andrew Benintendi, Starlin Marte, and Ketel Marte. And if those are the names that we get,
no. Story. And then
Story as well. Like, if we get those names, we're going to have to I think we literally would have to give up everybody. And on top of that, with the trades, 1, we're the Yankees, so nobody wants to trade to us because they don't want to give us another World Series. 2, everybody knows we're desperate, and you have no bargaining chips when you are literally the laughing stock of the league right now. You were supposed to be World Series favorite, and now you're a 500 baseball team, imploding every day and addressing the media every day. So
I literally saw
what bargaining chips do you have? You have no bargaining chips, so I don't think that we're going to get anybody at a good cost. So we're going to overpay for everybody, and I just don't see us getting that many people for the farm that we have, and I don't think our farm is that deep anyway. We have a few good names, and I don't even know. I don't know. So I'm gonna sell that.
We have a good top tier, and then it just really drops off. But we are the laughing stock of the league. I wanted to touch on that because I saw a fucking poll on Twitter today that just made me sad. Like, you can't even be mad at it, but it's like, which is more repulsive, the 2021 New York Yankees or a McDonald's filet of fish? And it was like 90-10 the New York Yankees. And I was very sad.
I agree, but the McDonald's filet of fish is pretty fucking gross.
Oh, it's gross. But I watched a guy eat a McDonald's filet of fish with extra tartar just like dripping down his hand once as like a 10 or 11-year-old, and it scarred me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I mean, there's some crazy shit that happens here in New York City. So I've seen some shit, especially in the subways. Imagine that. Imagine a guy eating a filet of fish dripping in tartar sauce while also pissing down the stairs. That's basically what I see when I go in the subways on a daily basis. Especially around me, it's not that bad, but like around like 34th Street, Penn Station area, that is a dirty place. If anybody lives there, I'm sorry for coming at your neighborhood, but it's fucking gross over there. So next one we're going for is Torres sucks and we should have traded him when we had the chance. From Dilly Fran _TTM, I think was the name. I'm gonna go ahead and sell this one. I think this is very short-sighted. I know he hasn't been great. We've said it on the podcast before. He's had 6 home runs in the last 2 years. He had 38. No, he had 62, I think it was, in the first 2 years combined. And yeah, the number 38 was from 1 year. So he had 38 in 1 year. I'm going to sell this. I think he's going to bounce back. He's starting to hit the ball a little bit well from that one game. I forget if he did anything in yesterday's game.
Yeah, he had the single with the bases loaded. It was his only hit, though.
Okay, so he's starting to turn it around. I really hope that is him turning it around. That being said, he went through one of the fucking worst slides I've ever seen somebody go through. We were talking before, it could be Chris Davis-esque. I'm hoping that we've crossed that and we're moving on to the next chapter. I hope July is Gleyber Torres month. So I'm going to sell that.
I'll sell it as well. I mean, unless you're getting Story, Seager, or Lindor at the time when he was hot, then no, absolutely not.
We've been selling a lot of these. We did ask for hot takes, so we got to expect a lot of sales. But
hey, I bought the first one.
The first one was Cole isn't a top 3 pitcher.
No. Second one then, the trade the farm one.
Okay, yeah. So next one comes from Drew Wallace, 88. Ohtani is not the MVP. I'm going to go ahead and sell this as well. I don't think one start is going to make him not the MVP by any stretch of the imagination. I think everybody has these blow-ups. His ERA is going to inflate a little bit, but after a few more games where he pitches against like the Tigers and other teams, Mariners, it'll go right back. So I don't consider that to be the end of his MVP reign, especially considering there's so many months left in the season. I do think Vlad Guerrero is tearing the cover off the ball. And if Ohtani, here's the thing, we talked about it on the Action Network episode but we're talking about how like the built-in odds, it's about an even match between Vladdy and Shohei Ohtani, because I think the Vegas odds makers are assuming that Shohei Ohtani is going to get hurt at some point, which could definitely be the case, and he could just hit. And if that does happen, then I think Vlad absolutely is the one who wins it, especially because their WAR numbers with Ohtani's pitching and hitting combined are pretty much even with Vlad's overall WAR numbers just by hitting. So that's pretty crazy on its own. He's batting like 340.
I'm buying it right now, honestly. Like, Vlad Jr. is putting up a historically great year. Like, this reminds me of Bryce Harper's MVP run. Like, he's putting up that kind of stat line. I mean, Shohei's doing great and he pitches and hits, but his ERA went up a full run yesterday. He's almost at I think he's like a 3.7 now or something like that after that, which, yeah, it's still incredible and it's inflated. It'll come back down, but I don't think he's going to have 32 starts or anything like that. Like, there's just, your body can't take that much. And if it is, I hope I'm wrong because he's awesome for baseball. But if I had to bet on one, I'd give me Vlad Jr. I mean, he's just fucking incredible, man.
Yeah, he's going to be good for a long time. He's going to be a problem for a long time.
He's going to hit 50 or 60 home runs this year and probably realistically
That'd
in
be
the
crazy.
mid 300s. He's going to. I mean, he's got 27 or 28, and we still have a week and a half before the All-Star break.
Out of the two, I have more confidence that Vlad will end up hitting more home runs by the end of the year, and I think that's obvious. But it would be cool that if those two had a little bit of a home run race, similar to like a McGuire Sosa type thing, but not quite up there. That'd be cool. That'd be cool if they were both at like 50 and they were doing the damn thing. Moving on to the next one from Andrew Brichard. Sorry if I butcher these names, by the way, but appreciate you guys sending them in. He said Torres will never hit 30-plus homers again. And I think this one I might buy because I don't think Torres was ever a power hitter. I think, here's the thing. I think he'll probably a season or two hit like 30 on the dot. So I think 30 plus. So I'll buy it for that reason. But I just don't think Torres is a power hitter. I think that was the one year that there was the juiced balls, and that's just what happened that year. He had 38, so it's really only 8 more than 30. So I think that's a fair thing to say. And I think he's genuinely just more of a contact hitter that can hit for power, and that's to be expected in the middle infield. There's not necessarily that many power hitters except that aren't named Trevor Story. So I'm gonna buy this one.
I'm buying it too. I think it was a product of the juice ball and just a little bit of catching lightning in a bottle. That was the next man up here, where literally nobody could do anything wrong. The whole entire season was just everybody. Like Austin Romine was a good catcher during that season. That's not to shit on Austin Romine. I love Austin Romine. I'm just saying, like, Austin Romine was a good hitter for stretches of time, and everybody was doing these just unheard of things. I think that was lightning in a bottle. He was never a power hitter in the minors, anything like that. So yeah, I think at his peak, he's still 24, so he's still got his prime to get to and everything like that. I think at his peak, he's like a 280 hitter. He'll probably hit in the mid 20s home runs. He'll get on base like a 3-something clip, like low 300s. He'll just be a solid hitter. I don't think he's like a Hall of Fame player, but obviously it's too early. I'm just saying, I think he's a solid hitter, and I think he needs to never play shortstop again. He needs to play second base.
And I don't think that's a staying at Gleyber that he won't hit 30 plus home runs. I think he's better as a contact hitter. So I think if he can just focus on being that contact hitter, like a Nick Madrigal type player, he's a young guy who's just hitting for contact, not worrying about the home run ball. I think that's what I would prefer out of Gleyber Torres, especially because my views on the Yankees. I want them to be not home run or bust. I want them to be like the Kansas City Royals when they won the World Series. I keep saying that. I would like to just put the ball in play. So that's what I want out of Gleyber Torres, and I think he should just lean into that. So next one is from Alexis Pelletier. I think I nailed that name, by the way. He said, Luis Cessa is the GOAT. That's probably directed at you, Chandler. Do you buy or sell that one?
Absolutely sell that for like a penny. Get the fuck out of it. No. Sorry. No, not to be disrespectful, but no. Luis Cessa,
I think that was just directed at you. So the next one.
Now I'm even more riled up than losing to the
Me 14 ND. Trade DJ.
Okay. I don't want to trade DJ, but I get it. Like, if it's for the right person, like if you go out and you get Story this summer and you want to move Gleyber back to second, and DJ's the casualty in that, and I know this is a huge, huge if, and there's a lot of things that have to go right, but I don't hate it. I understand it. I'm not advocating for DJ to be traded. I get it, though.
I don't want to trade DJ, and I don't think Hal will trade DJ. So I think if in terms of the question, I think this is more saying you should. I don't. This isn't asking if they will. So in terms of that question, I think, I'm not gonna. If you asked me like a couple months ago, obviously not, because we just re-signed him. But at this moment, when we're playing this bad, you look at some of the other teams like the Red Sox selling off Mookie Betts, and then they were immediately right back in it in terms of being a good team. I don't know if they'll finish the season on top. I think they could. I think they look like a great team. They just put up 15 on I forget who they played today. I think it was the Royals. But they put up 15 against them, and they're looking good. There is an argument to be made where you can sell off all these pieces. There are some pieces that aren't very attractive, like Giancarlo Stanton won't be traded. I think in terms of all the superstars on the Yankees, I think that he is probably the one that is most tradable to a team. I don't want him to be traded, but I think in terms of looking at it in that lens, Stan's not going to be traded. We're not going to trade Garrett Cole. Judge is another one that you could probably trade. Everybody makes the argument for that because of the injury stuff. I think DJ's there too. I think Gleyber's there too. So those are the three cornerstone pieces. People are saying trade Gary. And that's actually another one of these questions that we're getting from people. Actually, right, it's from D. Kahi 71. He said, trade away Gary. He's been hot. It's the perfect time to sell high. So in terms of that same conversation, I'm going to sell that just because I don't want to be sellers, and that's basically it. But also, Gary's playing well again, and I'm starting to buy that Gary is at least going to be an average catcher, if not above average. Like we've said forever, the catcher position is a very lackluster position offensively. Yes, the defense sucks, and that bothers me. But I do think if he can remotely stay at this pace, he's one of the top offensive catchers in the league. And I think everybody knows that. That's obvious. But whether or not he will remains to be seen. But I don't know. I just don't see another catcher that really. There's only a few catchers in the league that like I'll cream my pants over. Like, you know, like
well, no, that's actually one that I don't totally disagree with because he's one of the best. But like, if things are trending the way they are, and I'm not saying you're total sellers, but if it's kind of like 14, where we sold off Chapman. No, that was 2016, where we sold off Chapman and Andrew Miller and all them, and Gary Sanchez is a casualty of that, and you go out and get the story or get the superstar, and he's part of a package like that while he's hot. I don't hate that because the Yankees have been drafting. Good God, sorry. The Yankees have been drafting catchers for years now. Obviously, we have a farm loaded with first-round pick catchers. So hopefully one of them pans out. And, that's kind of my thought process behind that. If we're playing the long game anyway, then I can see it.
And if you asked me a couple months ago, would you trade Gary Sanchez? I would, and I have said don't because he has no value. So I can see the argument that you would sell him now because sell him while he's hot type thing. So, and we do have good catchers in the farm. We have, what's his fucking name coming up that we just took?
We have Wells and Siegler.
Austin Wells, yeah. So, moving on. JP Gallagher says a trade for Marte in parentheses with an S. So both Martes turns this team around and wins a World Series. You buying or selling that?
100% sell. No shot.
Now, I will say that, and I will pat myself on the back as I usually do, I was on the Starlin Marte train early on, and now he's the talk of the town. Everybody's saying he will be a Yankee. So I just want to say, and check the tape, that was a while ago that we called that, and he was my guy. Check the tape. I think it would be a good fit. I went and saw him in Miami. I went to the Marlins game, and he's a good player. He's a great player. He does it all. He does all the little things. So I do think Marte would be a huge player that we could add. I think he'd be a good fit. I think Ketel Marte is also great. He plays center field, second base, all that. I think they would be both great fits. If we could get both of them, that'd be awesome. I'm hearing the Ketel Marte price tag is pretty fucking high. So I don't know if that's true.
Rightfully so. He's squarely in his prime and plays like 3 prime positions and is a good hitter. He does literally
he's a switch
everything.
hitter too.
If he was on a good team, he would be, like borderline putting up MVP type stuff. So
I'm gonna sell it for the reason that it wins the World Series because I truly don't think. Just take a look at this team. We're not gonna win the World Series. Things can go right, and we could fall into one like we've talked about last episode. The Nationals just got hot at the right time. They're doing it again. We could be that team. We could steal a wild card spot. I don't even want to say steal one. We could still get a wild card spot, and although the Baseball Reference odds that came out today, I'm not sure if you saw them. We have 16% chance to make the playoffs and a 1% chance to win the World Series.
To make the playoffs?
Yeah, to make the playoffs.
Oh, that's so depressing. We were like minus 1,000 to make the playoffs at the beginning of the year.
Could you imagine putting a bet on that and being like, oh my God, absolute lock, throw the house on it, like literally the mortgage on that. Because that's the only thing you would do to actually make money. And they put that down and now they're homeless.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I just got this giant inheritance. My great grandpa passed away. Here's $2 million. I know I'm going to be an asshole and spend it, so let's just put it on something safe and obvious.
And make $750 on $2 million invested.
Yeah, they're just like, oh fuck. Now here we are.
They weren't listening to the Sharps over at Action Network ad, so download the app, follow them.
God, you're just full of slick ads today.
Colin and BJ, good guys. Wednesday episode ad. Check those out. Those are actually a lot of fun.
They might extend us on the spot with how slick you're being with those today.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to the next one. Torres will get optioned to AAA. A lot of Torres ones. I feel that because he's been kind of the talk of the town in the last couple weeks. And thank you, Jimmy Pelton, for the hot take. And I get it. It's a hot take. I don't think that Torres gets optioned. I think Brian Hoke put it this way too. He says that would be the nuclear option. which I like the way he said that. And I do agree. I think that's a little ridiculous, especially considering he's starting to play well again. So,
I wouldn't consider it well. He's got 3 bloop singles. Like,
I think optioning him is not something we can afford to do.
No. It's
Who are
just
we gonna bring up to play anywhere?
What's the alternative?
That's
Is Tyler Wade, because they're so averse to bringing up. Which that's another. You know what? We haven't used the gripe alert in a while. If you want to cue that up here, because I do have a gripe. Let me know.
Gripe alert. That has been a while.
It has. So this would be the perfect time. Why are we so averse to bringing up the guys that are playing well? Like Trey Umbergy or whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah, I don't care if there's a 40-man roster issue because the 40 you have right now aren't fucking cutting it. Like, you need a center fielder and you go out and do all this bullshit today. You have an in-house option who's lighting the fucking world up and you won't give him a chance. Or you have Park, who's been just crazy good down there. Why not give some of these struggling superstars a break? Or, anything like that. I just don't get it. If you're gonna get a replacement or you're gonna do a temporary solution, why not try these guys that are working their ass off and putting up just otherworldly numbers in AAA? Why don't you give them a shot? What do you have to lose? It's not like we're 2 games out of first, or we're 2 games ahead of first, and you have to really hang on tight and bring out all the big guns to make sure you do it. We're struggling to even stay 500. Give these guys a fucking shot. Why not?
I don't know why you don't do it over Umbergy or Clint or Park over Clint. I think that's obvious.
I don't see why you don't do it over Clint. I don't see why Park's not in over Tyler Wade. Like,
doesn't Park play the outfield? Or does he play?
He's a shortstop.
Oh, even better. Why doesn't he get a fucking chance? Is he good defensively?
Yeah, he's fine. Like, he's not
fine.
Well, I don't know much, to be honest with you. As far as I know, he's just the run-of-the-mill shortstop defensively. I don't know for sure, but he's tearing the fucking cover off the ball.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Tyler Wade played left field or right field, or I think it was left field yesterday. Tyler fucking Wade played left field, and you've got Trey Umbergy hitting like 340 in AAA right now.
Yeah. So to the question, the original hot take that Torres should get option to AAA.
No.
Sell it, but I think other people should. I think Clint should. And I think Umbergy should be the first guy up, if not. No, I think Umbergy's the one over Park, I think, because there's more of a need in the outfield than anything. And he's the one, he's doing better than Park is. But.
Whoa. Did you just forget about our new superstars?
I did forget. So we have a loaded outfield now with LeCastro and
LeCastro, that's his name.
And whoever the other guy is that we just got, so.
Yeah, so to scrap all that, I guess we'll just pretend we recorded that before the big news.
Yeah.
But if for some reason we needed some outfielders, Trey Umbergy, why are you sitting in Scranton?
So moving on to the next one from Bombers Beat. Yankees will win the AL East. And I'm going to sell this faster than anything. Can it be done?
No.
Sure, it could happen in some part of the multiverse. If you're a Marvel fan, it could happen. Will it happen? And do I think it's going to happen? That's a no for me, dog.
No, dude, it could not happen. It could not happen. There's no.
It can happen.
It can't.
It can definitely
don't
happen.
Do this to yourself. Don't do this to yourself.
I do this to myself.
Don't do it. There is. Accept it. There is the only shot that this team has of getting into the postseason is via wild card, which I'm not writing off completely. It's a long shot, but winning the East, no, just no. I mean, who's going to come in and beat the Rays or the Red Sox? We have one pitcher right now, and he's not even playing well. Like, we have one pitcher, and we've got, well, the offense apparently is good again, but it doesn't fucking matter because every facet of the game, whenever one steps up, the other sinks to the bottom of the fucking Marianas Trench. This team is flawed. Like I said, Marianas Trench.
The fuck is that?
It's the deepest part of the ocean, dude.
How?
Look it up. It's scary.
You're wearing a School of Medicine shirt, and you got all smart on me.
I know. My friend goes there, not me, but it makes me feel good about myself. Also, I will say this is probably my biggest claim to fame. I got this as like a charity, like, oh yeah, because I kept bugging my friend about it. I was like, this is a pretty cool shirt, it'll make me look smart. And then he spilled a whole bottle of wine on the front, and I scrubbed my ass off the bar of Dove soap for like an hour the other day. Got it all out. So joke's on you, bitch. Who's the
Joke's
real
on
med
you.
student? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I don't.
Sell
No,
out. I'm
the
selling out.
AL East, no.
I have my
No.
eyes dead set on a wild card spot, and I think we're good in wild cards, and I think that gives us enough time to figure it out. Until then, we might have a bunch of new players in the team by then, including our boy Tim LeCastro, who will spearhead this team into the stratosphere. And yeah, so I think that's a sell on my part. But
You know what I didn't even think about?
what did you not
We've
think about?
We've been just so hard trying to get a Diamondbacks outfielder, and this is what we got: is Tim LeCastro.
Yeah, we wanted Ketel Marte, we wanted David Peralta, and
I know, it's just funny to
and
me
we
because
circled, and they were like, "Nah, let's circle Tim LeCastro. That's the guy." Just like, excuse me, David Peralta and Ketel Marte, you guys suck. Which honestly, this actually really bothers me because the fact that we made the deal for Tim LeCastro, I feel like all but writes off the other two, because if we were gonna make a deal with them for them, it would probably be done in the same deal, just one big monster deal. So I think this just told us that we are not going to get Ketel Marte or David Peralta. And that's really upsetting because I want to Ketel Marte. And I think maybe our eyes will be set on Starlin Marte then. And that makes me excited. But I feel like in my mind, would you buy or sell that we are this all but writes off Ketel and David Peralta from being on the Yankees?
No, 100%. It does. Like,
It would
or
have been done. It would have been done.
Flip side of that, I'll do the devil's advocate, or the positive side, I guess. It's not really devil's advocate if it's the positive side. Maybe this opens trade talks with the Diamondbacks. Now they're more willing to listen now that we've done business. I don't think that's the case. I don't know what we're doing. And this just shows me how incompetent that the organization is. Why are you trading pitchers away to grab more, like, back end of their prime, if you want to call it that, below average outfielders? Like, we have a stockpile of below average major league talent just sitting in AAA. Our AAA roster's just got to be a washed out major league team at this point. We got Dietrich and LeCastro and this other
I forgot about Dietrich.
Exactly. We got this other asshole from the Rays, and now, we've got the guy from the Indians, Greg Allen or whatever his fucking name is. We're just stockpiling below average major league outfielders. For what fucking reason? I don't know, man. Just, what are you doing? We're trading pitchers away when our pitching blows for more below average outfielders. It's literally just a move. That guy's kind of onto it. Steven, you know what? This is a move just to say, hey, we made a move. There's your change. Fuck you guys. Like,
fuck you guys.
God damn, man.
All right, moving on to the next one. This is the last one for the hot. Not the hot or not. I get my segments mixed up. This is rounding third. Last one comes from John Lib 7. The new pitching crackdown will blow up in the MLB's face / Rob Manfred's face.
I don't think that's a hot take. It's already happened. It's
Yeah,
an embarrassment on the game. It's a fucking black mark on the game. It's terrible.
Yeah, no,
grown men getting naked on the mound. Like, what?
No, yeah, that's a easy buy for me. So let's get into the voicemails. We already started with one voicemail, but there were a few others that I wanted to get to. So if you want to call in, leave us a voicemail, 914-469-2168. The first one I wanted to hit was from Bridgeport, Connecticut, and it is this one right here.
So bad right now, I had actually considered giving Mariano Rivera a blowjob to completion just to come back for one game.
So we missed the beginning of that one. So he said something about, it was about Chapman. So
Chapman's so bad right now.
We missed the beginning part. It's just started a little bit in. But yeah, no, Chapman's pitching fucking bad. We already talked about that. I just thought that was really funny, so I wanted to start us off with that one. Let's play it again.
Now, I had actually considered giving Mariano Rivera a blowjob to completion just to come back for one game.
Now, whoever called in, you didn't leave your name or where you're from. The caller ID says from Bridgeport. So thank you to Bridgeport Anonymous. I want to know who your name is, and they want you to DM us because that was really funny. You made me laugh.
That was funny. And I like how, you know what? Hats off to you for putting in to completion on there. That's a very important
that is very important.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that word is.
Next one comes from Smithtown, New York, and I guess
Designation. That was the word I was looking for.
What?
Sorry. Nothing. I forgot how to speak for a second. I finally caught my word, but
My
sorry
name's
to
Colin from calling from San Diego. I'm born and raised in New York. Luke, I actually message you on Instagram talking hella shit all the time.
Yes, you
I think
did.
I sent you a long rant last night at probably 3 a.m. New York time, telling you, man, this team needs to fucking change. They need to start. They got to get rid of Chapman. They got to get rid of fucking Britton. They need to just dismantle. Right there alone is $30 million. I think Britton makes $14 million. Chapman making $18 next year. Those fucking guys are trash, man. I mean, this team needs to completely break itself down completely. Judge has got to go. What are we realistically going to see? Another 1 or 2 years of him being able to stay fucking healthy? Sanchez, I'm not buying it. I mean, his trade stock's probably the highest since 2016. He's got to fucking go. Really the only two that I would even consider even keeping would be Gio and DJ, because those are, and maybe Luke Floyd, because that's the kind of attitude that we need on the fucking ball field if we need to win. Judge and John Carlo, they're supposed to be the leaders, but they're fucking soft, man. It's just not in their blood. I was listening to another podcast and they said, like, look at the Boston Red Sox. They traded Mookie Betts 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden they're a first place fucking team. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to get rid of these top guys and rebuild completely. We missed our window in 2017, 2018. I think it's past. We got cheated out of probably a World Series win, probably both those years by the Astros, but now it's past, and these guys walk around acting like they're World Series champions, but they ain't got shit to their fucking name.
I agree, man, and thank you. Appreciate the call. I don't know about selling everybody. I just can't get behind that right now. I still have a little faith in this team, because if you sell, then it's like, okay, now what do we do for the rest of the year? So, like, there's no fun in that. So that's where I'm at with the selling of pieces, selling Chapman, selling Gary. We talked about selling Gary a little bit, and DJ, all that. I just can't get behind the selling right now. That's just no fun. Like, why?
I don't want to clean house. Like, I don't want to sell everyone, but I get where you're coming from. If you're meddling through and you're clearly not going to make the playoffs, and you know what? Maybe we get someone exciting for fucking once. You know what? Like we don't have a point to watch it playoffs wise, but maybe you get somebody like a Jazz Chisholm, where you actually, even on a shitty team, you still want to watch them because they're happy to be there. Everybody here looks like they're fucking miserable, man. So yeah, no, I get it. I'm down with selling. Maybe not cleaning house like everybody from top to bottom. I don't think we could if we wanted to, because who the fuck wants Clint Frazier and stuff like that? But no, I'm cool with that.
Moving on to the next call right here from Los Angeles.
Josh from Winslow, Arizona.
The number says
I have no idea what we just watched, but hear me out on something. Back in 2012, the Los Angeles Kings, the hockey team, they were out of the playoffs. They weren't in it at all. About halfway through the season, they fired their head coach, got a new guy in, Daryl Sutter, and he led them to their first ever Stanley Cup championship. I'm not saying that if they change the head coach, that's going to happen, but it's an interesting thought, and maybe it's something that would get these guys going. Huge fan, guys. Keep up the good work.
So if that came before the press conference and I didn't hear Hal Steinbrenner with his just completely out of touch, out of tune shit that he just spews every 6 months when he has to, I would agree. But there's clearly no personnel changes coming. I don't think there's any one thing that can spark this team right now. Like, I don't think that they have that mid-season turnaround in them, because not only do you have to turn it around on our end, you have to also bank on the Red Sox, the Rays, and the Blue Jays sucking.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I mean, I know it worked for the hockey team, for what was it? For the LA Kings.
The Kings.
Yeah, the LA Kings. I don't know. I just can't see it doing anything but bad. Like, you just put your team in a worse spot. I do want somebody fired. I do want things to happen. I think Boone, and you know what? Yeah, I think we should fire Boone right now. I was in the camp that like firing him isn't going to make us better this year, but like it's not going to change anything because Boone doesn't make decisions. I really, really think it's time for Cashman to go, and that's I don't know, man. I do think something's got to change. Whether
I hit a scary realization today that Cashman is never going with Hal here. That struck me today when I was listening to Michael K talk, and they were just talking about his blind loyalty to him. And just listening to how out of touch Steinbrenner is, like that kind of hit me, and it hit home. I'm scared. I don't think Cashman's ever going anywhere.
Are we in the new Wilpon type situation?
I mean,
he's not. He isn't saying. He says he isn't ruled out going over the luxury tax. Like the Mets just got out of the Wilpon situation. They got a good owner who wants to spend money, and they're doing it. They did it, and whether it worked out or not with Lindor, it remains to be seen. We'll find out soon.
They're in first place.
They're in first place right now, and dude, I think
it's
we may be in a situation
money,
like that
though.
because everybody has been like they hear the Steinbrenner name and they're like, oh, George spent money and he went out and did the thing and he really cared about winning and all that. And you see all the interviews where he freaked out and was like, I hate losing, all that stuff. And then you look at this guy, Hal, and he's the fucking polar opposite. And I think we might be in a fucking Wilpon situation. I think we won't be great again until he's fucking gone.
The
and like
thing
you
with
said,
Steve
I don't
Cohen
think Cashman
is,
will go.
Sorry, I was going to say the thing with Cohen is, it's not just the spending the money. It's having your guys' backs. It's everything. Steinbrenner clearly doesn't care or know what's going on. He just blamed his players and just shit on them and took zero responsibility. He was like, yeah, I'm upset, but it's on the players. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Steve Cohen's out here, right or wrong, love or hate the guy. Yeah, he's done some shady shit in his life, and you know what? That's not for me to decide, but he's on Twitter backing up his guys. He's, everything he can do. He clearly loves the Mets, and he loves what he's doing. Hal Steinbrenner doesn't even know what fucking state the Yankees play in. Sorry to interrupt you. Man, that pissed me off.
No, I completely forgot what I was going to say. Let's move on to the next call.
John Rutor from Stanford. Kev, if you're listening, what's up? I'm sure plenty of these messages are going to be people calling in crazy pissed off, especially after last night's game. But honestly, I know I'm not even surprised. I know plenty of fans aren't. It's sad that this is what we've grown accustomed to. But I just want to know what you guys think is like the root of the issue. I mean, obviously it's easy to blame the manager, especially lately with the way Boone's been, acting or not acting, I guess. But do you guys think it's a player issue, manager, or even higher up? Like, where does it begin and where do we end it? All right.
Did he say he's from Stanford?
Stanford, yeah.
Like the university?
No, Connecticut, idiot.
I was going to say, damn, good. Congrats on the big brain, man. But
I mean,
sorry.
He might still have a big brain. Don't call him out for that.
I'm not calling him out for having a bad brain. I'm just saying, man.
No, I mean, thank you for the call. Appreciate the call. But yeah, what's the root of the problem? We just talked about it a lot. I put this call down. Great call. Appreciate it. And I wish I would have played it before we kind of went on that tangent and talked about it. So just to reiterate, for your call, it's just like, yeah, the root of the problem is the management. It's not. It is the players, but here's why. It's like we said, just to summarize, dude, it's the management, and the management put together these players, and that's why this situation is an issue. They're both issues. The players get hurt too frequently because that's the players they are. It's not just random chance that they get hurt every year. That's the players that we have on the team, and that is caused by the people that are pulling the strings. So that is the root of the problem, and yeah.
Nope, I'm with you, 100%.
So, well, that was it for the voicemails for today. This is a little bit of a longer episode. That was about an hour-ish for us talking about stuff. I liked the rounding third. Let us know if you guys liked it too. We'll continue to do that on the Friday episodes. Hope you guys are enjoying your Friday or Thursday if you're watching live along with the YouTube. After this episode, we're about to kick it to our interview. No, it wasn't an interview. It was a series preview with Giraffe Neck Mark Luino. He is a big-time YouTuber. He's really good content, just MLB content, but he's also a big Mets fan, has a Mets podcast, so that should be fun. Turning the page from this bullshit game and blow-up, so let's move it right along to the Mets preview. Hope you guys enjoy it.